So good morning. This is week two of the IT audit class. Once again, my name is GB, and we'll just do a little bit of recap what we did last week. Basically, is the IT introduction. We did mention that IT audit, the whole concept of IT audit, is an examination or audit of what we call IT general controls and IT application controls, right? They are called IT general controls and IT application controls. I did mention that they are called ITGCs and ITAC, right? They are called ITGCs and ITAC. So these are the two main components that we do as part of our day-to-day. As part of our day-to-day, what we examine or we evaluate or we audit what we call IT general controls and IT application controls, right? And we did say, no matter what the system is, be it an information. So our work is to come into people's business and audit their environment. That's what auditors do. So most times people will think, oh, what do you do? Is it that you configure the system? We don't configure systems. We don't do security to systems. As auditors, we come in to assess other people's business and looking at their applications and ensuring that we are examining their IT general controls and IT application controls, no matter what the system is. So they can call us to go into HR department, look at the system that they use, and we audit the system. They can tell us that, oh, go to finance department in the organization, look at their system and audit their system, right? So our work as auditors is to go into people's business and audit their system, right? We audit their system specifically, and it could be within the information system, uh, the ERP systems, regular applications, even its underlying infrastructure. That is the operating system, the databases, or the network. So no matter what I tell people is no matter what the system is, even if it's called heaven and earth, even during interviews, you say, oh, what have you done? You keep saying that you've audited several applications. Some organizations will just say, oh, what the system that we need you to look at is SAP. SAP is a big application that is a big application that many organizations uses, right? Then we'll say, oh yes, we've audited it before, and we're going to talk more specifically on SAP. I think I have something on SAP, if not, but not have something on SAP, but definitely I'm going to discuss what we look at for SAP, right? So we discussed again that we are mostly tied towards the financial statement audit, meaning that what most organizations are often concerned about are the financial systems that are impacting the organizations. Follow the money, audit the money. You cannot expect the CEO that has 300,000 staff to understand everything that is going on. He relies on audit reports to get comfort that everything is going on as it should, right? So now let's delve into what we call IT general controls, right? Let's dive into what we call IT general controls. Don't forget, IT general controls and IT application controls are our bread and butter for this case. Uh, so as auditors, you must be able to say, okay, my name is Israel. I've been an IT auditor. I've tested IT general controls across many financial systems, including SAP, Oracle Financials, regular application, and its underlying infrastructure to determine if those controls are appropriately designed and operating effectively. So what I'm trying to do here is preparing you for interviews. You can see how by the time you listen to this recording, it will help you. And that's how you begin to gain, you have your pitch. If you're applying for if you're applying for a contract, you must have your pitch, right? If you are trying to tell people, okay, you have a product, you must have your pitch. Similarly, when you're doing your interviews, you must have your pitch. So what I've just said earlier is basically my name is Israel. I'm an IT auditor, right? That tested IT general controls across various systems, including systems like SAP, Oracle Financials, regular applications and its underlying infrastructure to ensure that those controls are appropriately designed and operating effectively. That's part of your pitch you can start saying or prepare by the time you go into the weeds. Let's now begin to go a little bit into the weeds of IT general controls. Are you guys following? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? We can make it interactive. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Okay. 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 So I think, I don't know, but your mics are kind of cracky, but I'll move on. I think I'm getting the feedback that you guys are good. So IT general control testing, right? Don't forget, what do we do as IT auditors? We examine, we evaluate, we audit, or we test. It's still the same English, right? It's the same English. So so you can say IT general controls testing is the process of assessing organizations, what we call access control. So now see it as you have a parent called IT general control, and the children are what? Access control, change management control, and IT operations controls. You can see that you are getting into the weeds of what IT general controls are, right? Don't forget, we can do this. You can be in an organization and they present 20 applications to you, right? But you'll be doing the same thing across those 20 applications because those 20 applications are in scope because they are financial quote and unquote systems. Are you following? Yeah, financial quote and unquote financial system. So you can be given multiple systems, you can be given multiple systems to do the same thing across the system, right? You'll be looking at the access control around those 20 applications. You look at the change management controls around the 20 applications, and you look at IT operations on the 20 applications. So what I usually tell people is we do often the same type of thing across multiple systems, regardless of how the system it looks. It could be an AI technology, it could be a financial system, it could be an AI system, it could be a regular application, it could be the underlying infrastructures. And when we say underlying infrastructure, we mean, like the operating systems, databases, network, it could even be data centers, right? It could be data centers. So the bread and butter here is you're looking at access controls, change management controls, and IT operations. And this one to have their own various kits. You understand? So we are breaking it down stage by stage. So see it as, I wish I could have like a tabular form. See it as IT general controls, right? Oops. See it as IT general controls. If I hit here and I do a design or insert something here, let's see. And I say, okay, come down, right? And I call it, you have access control, right? We also have change management control, and what IT, sorry, and IT. So in fact, it's even better I do it this way. Let me see. I wish this didn't make me be great. Let's see. Is this other side I chose? Hold on. Right. We can even go further and put it this way. Let's see if this would work. But bottom line is, that you have three IT operations control, right? So that is what IT general control. It has three kids. It has mainly IT access control, change management control, and IT operation. Each of these controls, also have their subs. But let's move on, right? So IT general control is the process of assessing an organization's access control. What is access control? We'll discuss soon. Change management control and IT operation to evaluate the system's internal control design and operating effectiveness. Right? Again, the whole reason why we are testing controls itself is to determine if those controls are appropriately designed and operating effectively. Right? So if you are told to test, the IT general controls of SAP, right? They will say, okay, ensure that you test access control to SAP, change management control to SAP, and what? IT operations control to SAP, right? What we are going to be doing with those three things is to ensure that each of those controls are appropriately designed and each of those controls are operating effectively. And I will discuss how we determine that in the class, maybe next week or in 2 weeks. Now, if the IT general control is found to be effective, internal auditors management can communicate effective So if the IT general control environment is found to be effective, meaning that there are no issues, right? If they are effective, meaning that we have done the design and we've done the operating effectiveness of that control. We, as the internal auditors now or management, will communicate the effectiveness to management, while financial auditors can rely on the IT controls and reduce the amount of detailed testing that they perform, which often saves their budget. So what we're saying here is because of the way financial systems have grown and things have really changed, oftentimes the system, because we IT are now testing the systems, it saves the business. I told you last week that there are different, every business has their auditors, right? Imagine an organization like a bank that has different departments. They have the finance department, they will have their finance auditors, they will have legal department, they will have their legal auditors, they have their chief operating department, chief operating office department, they will have their auditors. They have all their regular business auditors, but they bring us in to ensure that because most of their operations are also done within a system. So they usually put us on in some of these audits to help them look at some of the automated piece of their controls. But this is not even talking about automated piece. But bottom line, well, it helps the business to save budgets while they rely on our own way of testing IT general controls, right? So IT general controls are also known as general computer controls. Well, it's been a minute. This is like an old way they call it, but in case maybe you go for an interview and they say, "Oh, do you know what they call general computer controls?" Just understand it that it's called IT general controls, right? Other than applications which relate to the environment within which computer-based application systems are developed, maintained, and operated. Let's just go into the ways. So the most common IT general controls are as follows: access control, change management control, and what? IT operations control. So in access control, like I mentioned, access control will also have its own kids. So we're saying that it includes what we call logical access, and what? Data center physical access, right? Access control. Now we're going to be talking about access control. It includes logical access. What do we call logical access? Logical access are access that you cannot feel or touch. Logical access are access that you cannot feel. For example, your username and password, right? That's what we call logical access. Are you following, Israel? So when we say access control, if someone wants to come into your house, someone must knock at the door before you open the door, right? Because you want to be sure. And why do you do that? Because you do. That's why you lock your door, right? So what are you trying to mitigate? You are trying to mitigate, because if you don't lock your door and you go to sleep, you are exposing yourself to a risk that someone can come into your house and steal from you, or even hurt you, or eventually kill your pet or do something crazy. So the purpose why you want to lock your door, your physical door, that is what we call physical access, right, is because you are mitigating a risk. We talked about risk and control, that the senior brother, I'll be using a little bit of, tears or elder brothers or parent and child, so that you follow the sequence of all this, right? Because the whole idea of this control is to mitigate a risk. Don't forget, right? Is to mitigate a risk. So for physical, so imagine your apartment is a data center, and we discussed what a data center is last week. A little bit of it, at least the servers, the compilation of servers, where every organization stores their data. It goes into a server, right? It's just like your memory on your phone, right? The memory on your phone. Sometimes your phone is full. You have to even pay Apple for more storage, right? So data centers are like the storage. It's just like you're selling, maybe your business is selling bags of rice. You have a warehouse because you're not a farmer. You know where to get your rice, but you have a warehouse where you dump your rice. And access to that rice too, you have to ensure that you're keeping inventory so that you're locking it so that people won't go there and be stealing your rice, because that's the risk you're mitigating, right? That is it for access. So access control again includes logical access and data center physical access. Logical access, the idea of logical access is, and let me know if you guys can't hear me because sometimes I cut off as well. So, but the whole idea of Logical access is something you cannot feel or touch, meaning that the access, how do people gain access to SAP? Now, imagine, don't forget I said you can be given 20 applications to go and perform access control on. You can be given 20 applications. Okay, these are the 20 applications in school. Please, can you test the access control? How do they access the system, right? Because that's one of the ways they can. If you have your bank account and you don't have a proper access control in place, anybody can just get your bank, put in your details and easily access it, right? But there must be a control in place to mitigate people from what stealing from your accounts, right? So that's what logical access is. So do you guys understand what logical access is and physical access, right? I'll continue. That will be yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's I would yes, access controls are right. So change management control. Now, another type of control that is important for IT auditors, right, is what change management control. Now, any change to a system, any change to a system must be what documented. Any changes to a system must be documented. So and why we say that is, imagine you change your key lock, right? Your key lock, and your key lock is automated, right? And you change it, and probably you don't keep how do I illustrate it? And you don't keep maybe the document of that change. For us as IT auditors, we will have an issue with that because all changes made to a system like must be documented. And that's why even most systems will have what they call audit trail. No matter what the system is, it will have so that it can trace that, oh, who made this change to this system, so that we can easily trace it back to the person. So change management control includes program change management, any changes done into the system, right? And we'll discuss what the system development life cycle also is as part of change management control. So the idea about change management control is there's often changes that are made to systems. And I usually give examples. When WhatsApp started as a normal application that you can only chat, right? Then they upgraded that change to something you can now make a call on. Then they upgraded the change to make it a video call. Then they upgraded the change to make sure that you can do group chat, right? You can do group chat, right? You can do group chat on WhatsApp. You can do group chat, group video calls. So those types of change, you can see that system. That's what we call like system development life cycle. That the WhatsApp as an application on the phone has changed over time, right? So those changes. So if I'm supposed to audit WhatsApp as a company, which is Meta, right? WhatsApp is an application under Meta, and I'm assigned to do changes or do an audit to their change management on WhatsApp, right? Then I'll need to see what are the documentation that is in place for all the changes that has happened within the life cycle of this application. Are you following? So whatever changes, so the idea for auditors is when you are assigned to test a change management control, the idea is you want to what? Understand the changes that has occurred and if those changes has been documented somewhere, right? If lack of documentation for auditors is a finding or is an issue, meaning that we will not say that particular control or that particular environment is effective due to lack of documentation, right? So for change management controls, the idea about it is any changes done to a system, configuration changes or security changes, right, must be documented, right? I will go into the weeds of what it is later on. IT operations control. So the idea of operations here is there are different operations system does. They have like, system have different domains. So if I go, let's go into ChatGPT and let's talk about system operations. Let's go into ChatGPT so that you have an idea of what list various IT. I've not even done this before, so let's see the results of what this will be. IT operations. List various IT operations in a system. Uh, domain. Just so You can see. So when we say IT operations control, it's not limited to just one thing. And it could be server management, it could be cloud infrastructure operation, it could be network operation, it could be storage, it could be data center operations, right? It could be capacity planning, it could be patch, it could be, life cycle management, hardware life cycle, right? It could be job scheduling or batch. It could be anything. You can see there are various operations. Like, so when you go into organization and all, you see all those engineers doing different things, system admin doing different things. They are doing different things because there are different operations associated to a system, right? So there are different operations that go into a system. You can see data and database operation, end user and workplace operation, DevOps, business continuity, governance, risk and compliance operations, right? Even so, again, in this process, we don't care about it. They can just say, okay, GB, come and test any of these operations. All we'll do is ask the business what are the controls associated to all of these operations. We don't care. They'll be the ones to provide the controls to us. We don't own the control. And I'll give you examples of how controls look like so that you understand. Don't let all this scare you. No matter what it is, they'll give us the control and we'll go and do our assessment on it. So bottom line is the third part of general controls is IT operations, which includes what? System backup, and batch job scheduling controls. But like you can see, there are multiple different controls. But for the purpose of doing interviews, that you say you have 2 or 3 years or 4 years experience, they don't expect you to have. Even me myself, that has had close over 10 years experience, I've not audited all these operations. I've not audited everything, right? Because there are different departments, they'll be the ones that are subject matter expert. It could be that you are just subject matter on governance. I think in my own department, I'm more of subject matter expert on governance, risk, and compliance, auditor, right? They are different from the ones doing the day-to-day operations of it, right? We are just auditors coming behind these people doing this work and auditing their process. Israel, are you following? I want to make sure you are following. We don't
Yes, I'm following.
Yeah, we don't put policies in place, no. But we audit people that put policies in place, right? We don't do backup operations, but we audit people that want perform backup operations. Does that make sense? So don't let all
Yes.
so we are just auditors. And when you're an auditor, it's not that they'll give you everything to go and audit, right? They'll just give you, okay, let's go audit. And this is just what IT operations, right? So let's go into the weeds of now. You have an idea of what IT general controls are, right? IT general controls consist of three things: primarily access control, change management control, and what? IT operations control, right? So let's go into a little bit of the access control, change management controls, and IT operations real quick. Now, the objective of access control, right? Let's take it one step at a time. Now, I don't want it, don't be overwhelmed. The idea is now we know what IT audit, before the class, probably you don't even know what IT audit is. Now you understand that IT audit is what? An examination or audit of IT general controls. Now, today, this IT general control, don't forget IT audit is an examination of IT general control and IT application controls. Now, we've picked one, IT general control. Now we are looking at IT general controls. You now know that in IT general controls, we have access controls, change management controls, and IT operations controls. Are you following? Now, are you seeing the cadence? Are you following IT general control, access control? Now, under access, the objective of access control is only authorized persons have access to data and applications, and that they can perform only specifically authorized functions. The idea of access control, and that's why I gave an illustration about someone coming at your door and you have certain controls around your even physical door. Someone press the bell, you can look on your phone and see who that is, right? Right. So those are certain controls around your access management control because you want to mitigate the risk of allowing someone get into an unauthorized person. You can see an unauthorized person coming into your house. The only time you give someone an authorization to come into your house is because you know the person. So if you work with a company now, right, even with this Zoom call, an unauthorized person cannot just come into this class because I was the one that created the class and I can monitor those that can have access. into this class, right? So it's not for the public. So there's a form of access control that is even going on within this little Zoom class that we are doing. Right. So the idea and the objective for access control is to ensure that only authorized persons have access to our environment. If you work with Home Depot, for instance, I can't just get into Home Depot, act like a staff, and get into their system and know how to, you won't be able to do that, right? They will have applications that are customer facing. Oh, this is customer facing. This is for the general public. But they will have internal applications that is just for team members within. Are you following? Just for team. So those ones that are for team members within, they will ensure, and that's what we are doing access control on, is just to ensure that only authorized persons have access to certain data, because everybody has different departments. If you work with Home Depot or Walmart, people are in legal departments. Those in legal departments will not have the type of data that those in IT departments will have. Those in financial departments will be set, the things they will be seeing will be different from what HR people are seeing. Are you following? So every department has what they can have access to, right, based on their job function. So the objective of access control is, as part of IT, is to confirm there are effective controls in place around adding people into the system, updating the system, deleting or restricting user access to financial data. Don't forget, most times we just want to ensure that we're following, anything financial, anything finance. Oh, I hope, like I, as an IT auditor, even though I work in the bank, so people say, oh, can I quickly check your balance? I say, I cannot check your balance. My work is not a teller. Are you following, Israel? I'm not a teller guy, so I don't have access
Yeah.
to your account. I can't, because I'm limited, right? I'm limited. Do you understand? I cannot, because that is not my day to day. That's not, it's not my job function. So I've been the app is, if you don't ask me that, oh, please, can you send me an audit policy, or can you send me something? Now I can have access to that, right? Right, because this is my own role. So based on your job function, that is what you can have. Even the CEO does not have access to everything. If the CEO have access to everything, it is a problem. And we'll discuss how do we identify those that have access. How do we even know, right? Now they have access to it. So detailed IT general control objective. Don't forget the objective of access control is, okay, how do people to an environment? And when I say environment, it could be this application, because there are multiple applications within an organization, right? So detailed IT general controls and objective. We have password settings are appropriate. We want to ensure that there are best practice for password settings, right? Different frameworks that are out there. There are different security frameworks, because access control is part of cyber security, right? It's part of cybersecurity. I know Bodeas is a cybersecurity guy, right? He understands a lot of access, right? So the cybersecurity guys will be the ones to, okay, configure that, okay, these are different access that you can have based on your job function, right? So getting into your organization's team portal is different, like I said, there will be, if I get into uh Wells.com, for instance, even though I work with Wells Fargo, right? Like, this is what they are expecting. You go and just log in. But this is not how my interface is when I log in into my own computer in Wells Fargo. This is for the public. Are you getting? This is what everybody will say, okay, log in to see your balance and all this stuff. But you will not see CEO's comments, you won't be seeing communications, right? But this is what is for the public. Every organization will have an application and interface that is for the public. It will be different from what I, as a member, if I log in with my Wells Fargo computer, what I will be able to see, because I'll be able to go into more of the environment within Wells Fargo. So now, to log in, to grab my system and log in into my organization's environment, I must ensure that my password settings, the control, the system is configured in such a way that password settings are appropriate. And what are the best practices for settings, right? So if I go to best practice for password settings, right? And this is based on NIST. So there are certain frameworks that are out there per per NIST. There are certain frameworks that are out there that many organizations use. Just see it as standard. I don't know if you're aware of Standards Organization of Nigeria. There's, like all this NAFDAC in Nigeria. NAFDAC and Standards Organization of Nigeria, their work is to ensure that standards are in place for any, I think NAFDAC is food and drug, something like that. Standard organizations are more of even other standards outside of food and drugs alone, right? So it could be your tires, it could be your paints, it could be your cuttings, it could be your iron rod, it could be. So we want to ensure. So those are the actions that ensure that all, let me put it as there are organizations that set out framework for other organizations to rely on. So that if you want to produce a rod in Nigeria, for instance, you have to ensure that that rod is of standard because they'll use that rod to build house. So if it's not of standard, there is likelihood that people will die. So mitigating those risks is to ensure that there's standardization. So NIST for us is our standardization for cyber security. So that's why I said, what is the best practice for, the best price for password setting per NIST, right? NIST again is a standard, like just call it a standardization company, right? You can see that per NIST, you see that they recommend that you have at least 8 characters, right, of your password. And that's why even if you want to open a Gmail account or any account that is even as simple as just even a Facebook account, if you try to put in 4 password and just put 1, 2, 3, 4, Facebook will tell you no, you cannot use 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's not based on standard. Per standard, because Facebook is a big organization, so you understand. So even if I create an application, if I choose to create an application, I will ensure that when my application goes live, anybody that wants to subscribe to my application must have his own character that is at least of 8 character. Minimum of what? 8 character. Don't be surprised that when you are doing audit of some application in organization, they don't have 8 minimum character. They don't. Many organizations, you think that, why is this organization? So even though it's as simple as ABC, but many applications that organization uses don't even have that minimum password length. Are you following? Are you following? They don't even have the minimum password length. The recommended one is 15 to 18 plus. In my own organization, the minimum length is 16, right? Minimum length is 16, right? Right. So part of what we look for as an auditor is to know what is the password setting? What are your password settings? Are they appropriate based on NIST standard? So you can see password length. Another thing we look at is complexity. That's why sometimes you try to put in some password and you just want to put A, B, C, D, E. They'll say, oh, please, can you add numbers or alphabets or special characters, right? Just to make it complex. The idea of it is, don't forget we are controlling access to our environment. You have to make it complex so that people cannot easily guess it. Gone are the days I can guess some people's password if they don't use their kids' name, they don't use their mom's name, they don't use their dad's name, they'll use their cousins, their best friend's name, they'll use their nickname, right? Now, you can't just use your nickname. Someone cannot be Israel at 1, 2, 3. That can be your nickname. Your nickname can be easy, but your password can be easy at 1, 2, 3, 5. You understand? That makes it more complex, right? So we are ensuring that, don't forget, as auditors, we come into the environment, okay, can we see your password parameters? How does it look like, right? And we'll show how that looks like. Password expiration. Password must expire, right? Password words must expire. If password doesn't expire, right, it gives room for people to be able to guess it for a long period of time. Someone on a lighter note, one of my friends said, my password is so complex. And later he said his wife knew that all of a sudden the wife just mentioned something that, oh, hope whatever you did, hope you had a nice night yesterday. And the guy was like, he was surprised. He was surprised because, and he typed his password, and I knew that password was long enough, right? That password was long enough. But I told him, that, how long have you been using this password? He said, this same password on my phone, I've been using it for 3 years. He said, but you can see, if your wife is beside you for 3 years, no matter how long your password, they can't. Well, I lose you guys. Am I back? It looks like I lost you for a minute. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Can you guys hear me now? Hello?